The famous Brisa in Shabbos Daf Chof Aleph Amud Beis reports that the Chashmonaim entered the Beis Hamikdash. They found enough oil that should have lasted for only 1 day, and miraculously it burnt for 8. The Beis Yosef in Siman Tov Resh Ayin raises the question, if so, we ought to only celebrate 7 days of Chanukah. The first day we expected the oil to burn and it was no miracle. Why did the rabbis institute 8 days of celebration? The Beis Yosef himself offers 3 answers to this question, and since posing this question some 500 years ago, hundreds of answers have been offered. There is a sefer called Ner Lemea that contains a collection of some 100 answers to this question. A sefer called Shmoine Yomim contains 500 answers. Most recently, a sefer was published called Shmoine Mi Yodea, which contains 1,000 answers to this question. But one answer stands out due to its simplicity and profoundness. And that answer is in Minchas Asher Sichas Al Hamoyadim Chelik Beis Siman Aleph. Rabbi Asher Weiss makes the argument that the oil burning on the day we expected it to burn is no less miraculous than the oil burning on the subsequent 7 days. Natural phenomenon is no less the Devar Hashem, the word of Hashem driving it, than what we've come to consider miracles. They're all simply because Hashem decided and Hashem made them happen. Nature is simply something we expect due to its routineness and its the fact that it's repetitive, we've come to expect it. But it's not actually any less of a miracle. This echoes the teaching of the Ramban in Parshas Bo. The Ramban explains that the reason why we celebrate Pesach and remember and recall all the great miracles of Pesach is because through them, one comes to recognize and appreciate what he calls the hidden miracles, the small miracles, the natural events that we don't even consider a miracle necessarily because we expect it. But we come to recognize that they too are miracles. The Ramban says this is such an important principle that anyone who does not accept this premise, Ein Loi Chelik B'Toras Moshe, doesn't have a portion in the Torah. We must recognize that there is no such thing as Olam Kemin Hagoy Noyeg. The world acts in accordance with laws of nature, as if, so to speak, Hashem was bound by natural law when creating the world. Natural law is a creation as well, and it is no less driven by the Devar Hashem than the unexpected miracles are. The same idea is taught by Rabbeinu Bechaye in Bereshis Perek Beis Pasuk Daled, where he explains that the name Elohim is what drives Hateva. Nature is driven by the Devar Hashem, by the word of Hashem as well. We find this idea expressed also in 2 places in the Gemara by the great Tana, Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa. Once in Brachas Daf Lamed Gimel, and once in Tainis Daf Chof Hei. The Gemara in Tainis Daf Chof Hei reports that when Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa's daughter was upset that she didn't have oil to light Shabbos candles, they only had vinegar in the house. He said, Biti, ma ichpat lach? My daughter, what do you care? Why are you so moved by this? He who told the oil to burn will tell the vinegar to burn. And sure enough, the vinegar burnt. And I think what's so profound about this statement, and the reason why this story is recorded, is to pass on this teaching. There is nothing more natural about oil burning than vinegar burning. The only reason why oil burns is because of the Dvar Hashem in nature, embedded in the world as we have come to expect it. But the true reason why oil burns is because of the Dvar Hashem. And that same Dvar Hashem could decide to make the chametz burn right now. The same idea is also in Brachas, Daf Lamed Gimel. There was a poisonous animal called an arvad that was terrorizing the local town. And they came to ask Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa for help. So he said, where is this arvad? They showed him the hole from which the arvad would emerge. Rabbi Chanina went and placed his heel on this hole. The arvad bit Rabbi Chanina. Instead of Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa dying, the arvad died. Rabbi Chanina picked up the arvad and placed him on his shoulder and marched into the Beis HaMedrash and said, Banai, my children, my dear students, I want you to see, Loi ha'arvad memis, ela hachet memis. The arvad is not what kills, sin is what kills. And again, I think the profound statement is that there is nothing more natural about poison killing a person than spirituality being the source of a person's death. It is whatever the Devar Hashem is, whatever Hashem's words are, that's what drives it. In England, some 300 years ago, there was a rabbi named David Nito. David Nito's family was Mimegurashe Sfarad. They were expelled from Spain. He was born in Venice, Italy, and later moved to England and became a Rav there. One Shabbos in his community, he darshaned, and he said this exact idea. And he said that the Eibishter and nature is Hainu Hach. It's one idea. It's not two separate things. Nature is an expression of Hashem, no less than miracles are an expression of Hashem. People misunderstood him, and he caused a big tumult in the town. People wanted to remove him from his post. And so they reached out to the Chacham Tzvi to ask him, how do we deal with this Rav statement? And the Chacham Tzvi responded, and his response is recorded in Shailas V'Tshuvas Chacham Tzvi, Chelik Aleph Siman Yud Ches. The Chacham Tzvi says, every Frum Yid says 3 times a day that Hashem is Mashi Varuach U'Marid HaGeshem. He blows the wind. He causes the rain to descend. Hashem is acting through nature. Nature is an expression of Hashem's actions, and therefore he supported what Rabbi David Nito said. Nature is no less of an expression of Hashem than the things that we don't expect happening, what we call miracles. They're all miraculous, and we need to develop the sensitivity to notice natural occurrence as a miracle as well. And perhaps, Rabbi Asher Weiss argues, this is why we celebrate the first night of Chanukah, because the oil burnt when we expected it to burn, and that too is a miracle. The subsequent 7 days are celebrated because it was a revealed and open miracle. We didn't expect it to burn, and yet it did. But in truth, they're both on the same level. The Meshech Chachma, in Parshas Bechukosai, makes the argument that perhaps unexpected occurrence, something that's a routine occurrence, is even a greater miracle because it repeats itself over and over. It's a recurring miracle. Perhaps that's greater than the unexpected once-in-a-while occurrences. In any event, I think the message that we could take from Chanukah is that we need to develop a greater sensitivity and an appreciation to the everyday miracles that are occurring around us constantly. And through this, we live our life in awe and inspiration and with a sense of excitement as if we just experienced an explicit and revealed miracle. And may it be God's will that through us developing this heightened sensitivity, we merit to witness an opened and revealed miracle, the greatest miracle of them all, the arrival of Mashiach Tzidkenu, and an end to Golus, and an end to suffering. Happy Chanukah.